So I've put some effort in, but let's not go overboard. I've not put a lot of effort in, but I have transferred what was on this breadboard, which is the, is that going to focus? Yeah, this was the ringer, essentially. So it has an H bridge on there, and it had an ATtiny85. And now I've swapped it out. In fact, are you going to focus? Oh, there we go. So I've thrown it on a little bit of Vera board. So you can see there, it's kind of ugly, but it's going to work, I hope. So we're going to put it on the phone now. So these two yellow cables that are dangling off, these are the ringers. So they're going to go on either one of those little electromagnets. And this is our signal wire. So I'm going to tack them on to the phone and we'll see what happens. Hopefully it will work. So the phone itself has there are two blue wires here. I'm going to solder directly onto those. I could use some clips or something, but I fancy just soldering it, to be honest. Right, my soldering iron is up to temperature, so let's just, we'll just tack them on. Nothing too fancy here. In fact, I mean, I could just bend them over, but we're gonna solder it. Just because. That'll do. No, it won't. It's not soldered at all. Probably needs a little bit more heat on that really old metal. There we go. Now the other one. I'll do this properly at some point. At some point, yeah. Let's pretend I'm going to do it properly at some point. Ouch, that is very warm. Okay, so we've got power, ground. Okay, I think we're good to go actually. Okay, we're all powered up. I'm feeding it 12 volts. It's currently drawing 24 milliamps. We've got a 7805 providing 5 volt power for the ATtiny and to the H bridge, which will use the 12 volt for the old bells. Now, this is the wire here that's going to be going to the Raspberry Pi, which is going to be triggering this thing. But since we don't have the Raspberry Pi around at the moment, I'm just going to throw 5 volts into this. Now it will work off 3.3 volts, so that's what the Raspberry Pi is going to kick out. And in fact, I'm going to throw it through a diode, so there's no way 5 volts can come back into the Raspberry Pi. But let's throw this onto the power rail. It works. Except it's stopped. Oh no, I'm not holding it on properly. Hang on. There we go. It should continue going now. Yeah, it isn't very loud, is it? So 12 volts isn't really high enough to drive this bell, it seems, but it isn't really high enough isn't right, because I think it sounds fine. It's not aggressive and in your face, and to be honest, you don't want it to be, because this thing could potentially go off at any time when that thing's booting or whatever. So I think that's a success. I think that's okay. What do you think? So it should be using the UK telephone ring cadence. And I cannot for the life of me remember what that is, but I'll pop the code for the ATtiny85 in the description. It might even be really, really tiny, so I might be able to just paste the text in. But okay, we're getting closer.